Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We got why the 2020 draft was such a disaster. AM Hoops.
Of course, the 2020 draft, especially the top 10, was a disaster. One scout said the pandemic completely and utterly derailed the process. It was a nightmare.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I remember they said the 2020 draft class was weak. They said it was going to be a whole bunch of busts, a lot of weak prospects. No, they're wrong. They're wrong.
NCAA tournament, no combine, no group workouts. The best some teams
interviews to Zoom. Yeah, Zoom workouts.
Could do.
You had to put the computer down on your porch, and you had to work outside of your home basketball court.
Watching 1-on-0 workouts. So we can forgive the misses, but it will set some teams back for years. And the worst is the Golden State Warriors taking James Wiseman at 2.
It could have had LaMelo. It could have had LaMelo and Steph.
Most people bash him for not taking LaMelo Ball. What about Tyrese?
Or they could have had Halliburton too.
Halliburton. Actually, 10 other teams made that mistake, but we'll get to Tyrese in a bit. Wiseman has been a flop. Recently, the Dubs sent him to play in the G League, making him just the 3rd top 2 pick to go there. The other 2, Anthony Bennett and Hasheem Thabeet. 2 legendary busts. And even in the G League, he's averaging 15 points a game. That big kid, Kenny Lofton, is averaging 27. And look, I'm not trying to rip Kenny Lofton. That kid's awesome, but he wasn't even drafted. Last week, the Stockton Kings center, Neemias Quetta, scored 38 on James Wiseman. Dude just doesn't know how to play basketball yet, especially on the Warriors system. But part of this was just getting unlucky.
See what happens when you just rely on your height and athleticism?
They didn't get to see almost any college games because he got in trouble, but that worked out for like the Cavaliers, who only saw 5 games of Darius Garland. The worst part is the Warriors could not afford to mess this up. Their core is getting older. Steph is playing like an MVP. At this point, they should consider trading him for pennies.
They said Anthony Edwards was weak. LaMelo was going to be a bust. Who went number 4? Number 4 pick wasn't going to be solid, and he was. Okoro wasn't going to be solid, he is. Halliburton, I don't know what to expect from him. He's good. He probably an all-star this year.
On the dollar for bench help.
These GMs don't know what they're talking. These scouts don't know what they're talking about. If there's no clear-cut number 1 pick, they're gonna get it wrong every year. Unless there's a clear-cut number 1 pick, then they're gonna get it right. But if there's no clear-cut number 1 pick, they're gonna get it wrong every single year.
Last year they had Gary
These GMs don't know what they're talking about. They don't even know what they want.
Porter. All those vets are gone. Maybe they can replace them, sending Wiseman to the Spurs or the Jazz. But another good team that whiffed is the Bulls. Think about where they are as a team. Vets like Zach LaVine, DeMar DeRozan, Nikola Vucevic. Their one chance to get ahead.
They don't have Lonzo, so they're not full. Lonzo was actually a point guard for them. They need a point guard. You got Zach LaVine and DeMar DeRozan on the same team. You need a point guard. You need a pass first point guard for DeMar DeRozan and Zach LaVine. Because, you know, DeMar DeRozan and Zach, they're both scorers. So you need a point guard to give them the ball.
It was the 2020 draft, and they blew it. We thought Patrick Williams was a reach at number 4. He was. Here's just...
No, he wasn't. That dude is solid. He just hasn't been healthy. But yeah, they should have still took it to Halliburton and Maxey. Maxey was in that draft. Yes, and Bane. And he said this draft class was weak.
Bulls could have taken Tyrese Halliburton, the best, because he's also leading the league in assists. But there was a lot of talent. Instead, the front office...
And they got Bane and Maxey.
They were getting a Kawhi type. How many times have we heard that? Oh, he could shut down the team's best player and score. Turns out, Pat Will is not elite on D, straight awful on offense. But then, they had a chance to correct this mistake by trading for Jeremy Grant. But they refused to put Pat Will in that deal. Now there are rumors they've messed up so bad they could blow this whole thing up. But we could argue the best player in the whole draft was Tyrese Halliburton. That is where he goes in the 2020 redraft.
I think he went to number 12 in the actual draft.
This video. Look at all the picks before him. Every single team would be better today
12.
with Tyrese. Anthony Edwards, LaMelo Ball, and Devin Vassell were good picks, yes. But Halliburton has gotten better every year to an all-star level. So why did he fall so far in the draft?
And the team that drafted him traded him.
I mean, once we got all the way down
and
to
the team that drafted him traded him a season and a half later.
ESPN was confused.
Tyrese Halliburton. He's the best available prospect.
But Tyrese sat there because of what Draymond said about the draft. Teams thought Tyrese...
What did Draymond say?
...wasn't special enough. He didn't have that elite potential.
But all potential means you haven't proven shit. That's what we draft nowadays.
Yeah, it's based off potential, unfortunately. You gotta know when to go off potential, when to not go off potential. I think it's like a balance, when to do it and when to not do it.
The number one pick is going to have the most possible upside. The number one pick is never the guy who's done the most.
Tyrese stayed in college and did a lot for 2 years, which was a bad sign apparently for the NBA. Before that, he grew up in the shadow of Tyler Hero. They played on the same AAU team since 7th grade, and Tyrese was a late bloomer. So people doubted him all the way up until the draft. Then he was special early on the Kings, but they ruined it. They chose Davion Mitchell over him. That will go down as one of the stupidest decisions in NBA history on this trajectory. Halliburton's got more points, boards, and assists than Steve Nash in his first 2 years. And Nash was an average defender. Halliburton is great. But actually, the Pacers fleeced another team in the top 10. The Suns had a big opportunity to improve their team at number 10. Imagine if they had nailed this pick. People are worried about, oh, what are they going to do after Chris Paul? Tyrese Halliburton would be the perfect player. And it's fair to ask, do they actually beat the Bucks and win the 2021 title with Tyrese Halliburton? Instead, they wasted the pick with Jalen Smith. They took him at center as a replacement.
I thought you about to get dunked on. Sheesh!
Aaron Baines.
I thought you saw him a clip with him getting dunked on.
Get a chance to develop. It got so bad.
They traded. Hey, they teammates now. I know we got traded to the Pacers with Tyrese. They teammates now. They all worked out.
Up on the top 10 pick after his 3rd season, which has only happened a handful of times in history. Instead, he signed a new contract with Indiana to be their starting center. And I will not call any of these players, you'll notice, a bust at this point. But it is fair to say Killian Hayes wouldn't even be a first-round pick in a redraft. The Pistons took him at number 7. Some draft boards had him going number 1. He started 51 of his first 59 games, shot 34% from the field, 28% from 3, with
That's worse than
133 turnovers.
That's worse than Russ. And Ben Simmons combined.
Some Pistons fans just give up. But the difference between him and James Wiseman is Detroit can afford to let the kid grow with low expectations. In fact, recently, he has shown some signs of life.
Yeah, Cade out with the injury. It gave him an opportunity. He's been balling though. Low key.
May just be a late developer. But the crazy thing about this draft is, despite all the mistakes in the top 10, nobody could say 2020 was a horrible draft class.
That's what I'm saying.
I have heard people say that actually.
Tyrese Maxey, Bane? Come on.
And it's not true. Those people are looking at the top 10 and seeing this. Only 3 legitimate starters. 2 of them are all-stars in Ant and LaMelo, but come on.
First of all, LaMelo's an all-star and is a borderline all-star. Get your facts straight. Ant is not an all-star yet. Until he makes an all-star team, then he's an all-star. But he's a borderline all-star.
Starters. 2 of them are all-stars in Ant and LaMelo, but come on.
And nothing wrong coming off the bench, too. They some good role players. They can develop in some good role players like Ginobili and Haslam.
Starters. 2 of them are all-stars in Ant and LaMelo, but come on, that is horrible for a top 10. There have been worse drafts though. In 2002, you had Yao Ming, Amari Stoudemire, and Carlos Boozer.
He's not bust. Boozer was an all-star. All-star. Stoudemire. All-star. Yeah, that's not a bust.
That's it. The 2000 draft class top 5, Kenyon Martin, Stroma,
all-star.
Miles Swift, Darius Miles, Marcus Fizer, and Mike Miller. Ugh.
He's not a bust. Mike Miller was a good role player. That's not a bust.
Was actually sneaky good. What those people are missing is how deep this draft was.
That's what I'm saying.
After the lottery, we started getting gems. Isaiah Stewart and Josh Green are decent. Sadiq Bey, Precious.
Where's Tyrese? Yup. Borderline all-star. Maxey.
Tyrese Maxey.
Quickly. Solid. McDaniels. Solid. Bang. Borderline all-star. He probably would have been an all-star this year if he didn't get injured. Sadiq Bey. Solid. He's some good players.
19, 20, and 21. But the steal of the draft was a draft night trade from Boston to Memphis for Desmond Bane. The Celtics got 2 future second-round picks. The Grizz got an all-star type running mate for Ja Morant.
Yep.
So, in a 2020 redraft, Tyrese Halliburton goes
We picked Tyrese over Ant? You would pick Tyrese over Ant? Ooh, that'll be a hard decision for me. I have to put it on the wheel and let the wheel decide.
1.
So I saw 50% of my problems. Put it on the wheel, and wherever the wheel lands on, that's what I do.
LaMelo.
Number 2, LaMelo.
Goes to Golden State because I think he fits better than Ant. I've got Tyrese Maxey at 4 over Desmond Bane at 5, just because Tyrese is 2 years younger than Bane. Both great scorers, not great on defense. Devin Vassell, a perfect fit in Atlanta as a 3
not great on.
I still believe in Sadiq Bey for Detroit, even though Isaiah Stewart and Killian Hayes are both playing well. Onyeka Okongwu goes to the Knicks. 3-and-D Jaden McDaniels is a Wizard, and Precious Achua barely beats out Emmanuel Quickley to round out the top 10. What this proves is how ridiculously hard the NBA draft is. If you throw a pandemic on top of that, you get one of the most screwed up top 10s in a long time. Right below this video is the
He gonna blame it on a pandemic, bro. He gonna blame it on a pandemic. You do this, y'all do this every year. Like I said before, they do it every year.
brand new merch store. Check it out. Shirts like this and a lot of other cool ones. But one other late bloomer from the 2018 draft class was Lonnie Walker. He is now the 3rd best scorer on the Lakers after San Antonio gave up on him. And part of the reason he's finally breaking out is breaking free from a really dark past. Check it out.
Hey, shout out Amu.